Aloha and welcome to the Dirty Dojo. I actually got the website. I changed the name of the website, although somebody actually has at Dirty Dojo. How
How
dare
dare
they? So what I did was I called it Dirty Dojo at Dojo Dirty, which kind of sounds cool. Dojo Dirty.
Dojo Dirty?
So I'm full on representing today here,
Oh,
and
nice.
and then even representing here. Yeah, I
Hey.
got my girl on. Yeah, yeah. Hey, if you do an Axl Rose, we'll have two dancing hula girls. Yeah, we have way too much fun on this.
It's on the
Yeah.
tips, man.
Yeah, we can't have this much fun, or else they're not going to pay us all the big money, you know. So, I'm gonna let me see. How much time we got? Okay, so let's do our 10 minutes of sand training. I don't know if you saw my latest video, but I started to do weightlifting, which is something not only did I stop weightlifting back in my teen years, but I also have always said, don't do weightlifting.
Yeah.
And there's always been caveat, like exceptions, like weightlifting if you're injured, or weightlifting. Well, it was usually if you're injured and you have to rehabilitate something, then probably weight training is the way to go. Otherwise, your Wing Chun is going to do it for you. However, our style of training is more tendon and ligament style training,
Yeah.
And as long as we're actively sparring and training with one another, then it's all good,
Right.
However, since the vid and all that, and then the disillusionment or dissipation of our of all the schools that we were setting up. Well, what I tried to do is then I started doing jujitsu training again to get that style of exercise going. And then I massively injured myself, or got injured. And welcome. I don't see your name. I don't know how to say that name, but welcome. And we're doing martial art training. We're doing Wing Chun training, martial art training, exercise. Welcome. So I have now come to, it's really the same exception, which is, but it's elderly. If you're elderly, you're also going to want to try to do, it's the same thing as doing rehabilitation, like, and because we're we can still do the tendon work, right? The tendon training, but without any physical exertion the way we do in our training, you're not getting enough muscle stimulation.
Yeah.
And I know this because I went and I decided I was going to start going to the gym again, initially to just take showers. And by the way, I've had this membership for like over 6 years, and I just So I'm like, wow, a shower. I haven't had a shower in like 3-4 years, you know? So, so on my way there, I started thinking, you know, it would probably be a good idea for this old man uh, to start lifting, to start doing bodybuilding again. And yeah, what a great idea. You know, so this time, though, however, we got the Wing Chun training, the tendon training, the ligament training, and the muscular training going all at the same time. Back when I was doing Wing Chun, when we first started training together, I was training practically every day, you know, and honestly, that's not happening now, you know. Uh, when you don't have guys knocking on the door to beat your ass, you know, you just kind of let it fall by the wayside. So I'm pretty stoked. I feel really good today, but you know, when you're old, it actually takes 2 days for you to feel the pain of working out.
I do add a little bit of weight training to my. Well, I mean, I have like a 35-pound kettlebell that I use for like squats and some other things. Then I have
Uh-huh.
and then I do pull-ups, you know, and that's
Oh,
like
cool.
my calisthenic sort of. I don't have my finger pull-up board with me though. It's out on the land in Swatch.
Ooh.
Yeah, you got me into that finger pull-up board thing, and I tell you, that stuff is awesome, man.
Yeah.
It makes regular pull-ups feel like not like I'm getting it, you know, not
Yeah,
a burn.
well, with regular pull-ups, you can cheat by bending the wrists, and
Yeah,
then you're not suffering from the grip strength. If you
right.
bend the wrists and then lift up like this, then you get it's easier.
Mm.
Or there ain't no bending the wrist when you're using your fingers to pull up.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Here, let me catch up here. Benson Funk, does it hurt? Only if you hit it lightly. You shouldn't be hitting for our style of training. You shouldn't be hitting this heavy. You should just be hitting it lightly and gradually changing the density of your fist. And it's also a matter of like just getting used to this density too, you know, especially for Wing Chun's 1 inch punch or our no inch punch. Right? Gaynell Cheney, hi, welcome. Garrison Lovell, what's in the bag? Steel, but we've been hitting it for so long now it's just broken down, molten. No, I'm just kidding. It's sand. Sand. You can use um, sand like play school sand that you would get at the hardware. Don't use beach sand. Or you can also put like rice or beans in here, and then you can beat it to a pulp, and then have like refried beans or rice flour. Yeah. So this is double bagged, and I have a string on here. Usually we want 2 of these so we can hang one up at face level and we can hang one up at sternum level. And this way we can practice, and you hang it up on a tree or a pole or a fence post, whatever you got. If you live in an apartment and you hate your neighbors, you can just put this up on the wall and bang it. Yeah.
Just make sure you put it on the stud, you know.
Yeah, you put it on the stud. And you know, back when I lived in apartments, one of the things that would happen every now and then, depending on the apartment, would be maybe the couple next door having sex or something, right? And really loud, like the bedboard hitting the one, like, oh my god, yeah. So you know, you could just hang your sandbag there and just join in, you know, maybe help them out with some rhythm, you know. Uh,
Turn to
yeah,
a dub step.
now other ways you can use the sandbag is for elbow strikes, right? Wrist chopping, right? Opposite hand, right? For that strike. Um, fingers, right? And something I've been doing a lot of is bashing my face with this, right? That's why I'm not as pretty as Chad. Yes.
Everybody's been calling me pretty lately.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean pretty. I was referring to myself that I used to be pretty. You know. So, Garrison, yes, we both are Sifu's instructors, and Sifu Chad is I'm pointing the wrong way. Sifu Chad is over there in Gunnison, Colorado, and I am here in the Sierra Nevada mountains around the Lake Tahoe area. We both are from Hawaii, and we started training many years ago in Hawaii. And yeah, we're still at it. We're still doing it. We're still, as they say at McDonald's, we're still loving it. do they use that anymore? Loving it, still loving it. McDonald's,
They just really turned that McDonald's jingle into like a plethora of jingles.
Yeah.
Way to play the McDonald's jingle with many different instruments and style. Yeah, it's bad.
All right. Now we're going to do. I want to go through the first postures. The first in Wing Chun. Let me explain real quick. In Wing Chun, we have 3 forms, and then we have a kind of like 3 exercise forms. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Okay, let's just say we have 6 forms. We have 3 standing posture meditation type of stuff, and then we have the mukjung, which is like the wooden dummy, and we have the barchondo, which is the swords. And Chad, would you say the proper name of the pole?
I believe it's pronounced Lukding Boom Guan.
Yeah, see, I'm never going to say that. I will never say that. But thank you for.
I think I could be wrong too, man. Like I don't speak much Chinese outside of Siu Nim Tao Chun Q BG, right?
Yeah, I know. Oh, I speak perfect Wing Chun though.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, I want to introduce you guys to our style of Wing Chun by way of our first form. I'm not going to go through the whole first form, but just the first section of the form to give you an idea of what our first form is like. The first form is just standing. We don't really move around with our legs much because we're really trying to really get a good static workout in our lower body. Well, throughout the whole body, but we're not moving our legs for that. There are Siu Nim Tao, first form, Siu Nim Tao exercises where we do move and where we do like kicks or one-legged uh, forms. But we're not going there today. We're just going to do the classic and traditional forms. Now, something occurred to me that I wanted to share with everybody is when you're learning, well, when you're learning anything, probably, but when you're learning Wing Chun, probably somewhere between 1,000 to 10,000 hours, you should pretty much do the form as closely as you learn it from whatever school. Now, the form is somewhat different between schools. That's okay. Um, Usually, the form is different by way of the sequence of postures, or rather, or even more specific. Hey, your eyes are up here, camera. the the transition from one posture to another can sometimes be different. Um, and a lot of people like to make a big deal about that. I'll explain here. But when you start doing Wing Chun, you want to do it as closely as whatever your school's teaching, or your Sifu, as closely as they're teaching it. Now, once you got that, I haven't done the proper math here, so I'm giving myself some leeway. 1,000 to 10,000 hours, somewhere in there. Maybe Sifu Chad might be able to kind of figure out. He's probably better at math than I am, but somewhere between 1 and 1,000 hours. There we go. You do it the way everybody else does it. After that, you're going to start experimenting. Now, you might not ever want to change the way you do it, and that's fine. But I've noticed, certainly with myself and other Sifus from our school, they over the years have done slight little changes. Uh, Not from the transition of postures or the sequence, but usually, like for us and for some of the other Sifus, my senior Sifus, and there's a name for that. I forgot what it is. It's funny. We independently came up with the same alteration on the form, which was, instead of doing things odd like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, for some reason I'm spacing on what portions, but we decided to do it even because over many years we realized one side was actually stronger than the other, and we independently started doing both sides evenly on certain postures and transitions. So there, just because you see one school or one practitioner do the forms differently doesn't necessarily mean they're doing it wrong. It just means that that's what they've come to, um, or whoever has come to over the years. So I just wanted to kind of set the record straight on that, because I've even had some of my own students over the years come back to me and say, we didn't do it that way. I'm like, well, yeah, it's been about 20 years now. So there's been some little tweaks here and there. That's
Yeah.
why it's good to stay with your school and not run around with other schools. And 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 before the 1,000 hours or whatever, to learn it really well, because that's another thing. People will learn it, leave, and then in their heads they get a little mixed up. We all do it. They get a little mixed up, and then they've done the posture and the sequence their way longer than they've actually been training. That's not good. And I know this because I've seen the changes that people have made. I'm like, why did you do it that way? And they're like, oh, that's how we used to do it. No, we never did it that way. So, all right, that's all I'll talk about regarding the sequence and the postures and all that. So let's get into our Kimim Ma. And boy, time is going by quick here. Now, by the way, welcome to the Dirty Dojo at Dojo Dirty. That's the new name.
Dirty
New name.
Dojo, Dojo Dirty.
Yeah, that's an easy one to remember. It's Dirty Dojo proper, capital D Dirty, space Dojo, capital D Dojo, at all one word, lowercase, Dojo Dirty. Somebody already took Dirty Dojo. How dare? How dare they? Anyway, welcome. Let me. I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, let's get to it.
Kimim Ma.
Kimim Ma. In case you didn't know, we start out with our feet together, parallel. I like to do it so see how there's air between here? There's space. Now I know if you're bow-legged, this might be impossible. Don't worry about it. But if you got regular or you're knock-kneed, then this will be somewhat easy. Is keep it nice and tight. Yeah, keep that nice and tight. This whole thing right here is so important, especially if you're doing a takedown and you're holding somebody down, right? Having this sort of thing where it's just automatic is huge. I see this a whole lot in jiu-jitsu these days, where they're just outright using this, of course, on their backs, or even yesterday I saw a jiu-jitsu video where they were showing how to apply top pressure, and it was nothing but this.
But Kimim Ma.
And then, yeah. So it should be understood that Wing Chun is the synthesis of everything that came before it. And so anything that works, Wing Chun has absorbed and codified it within the Wing Chun system. So it doesn't surprise me in the least that our postures and all this stuff is at this point this is relatively recent, and of course with YouTube, I've noticed that all the good martial art channels, regardless of what style, I'm seeing Wing Chun all over the place. You can't even miss it, and it's so obvious and blatant.
I saw a wrestling video just the other day, and yeah, it was straight up, right? And get around that outer arm instead of lifting over, it was a straight hook.
Yeah.
And you know what that is, right? Whoop.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, just get over and then get to the back. I was like,
that's right.
Oh.
And what Sifu Chad is pointing out is a very important thing in fighting is, unless it's like some sort of sport fighting, you pretty much, even with sport fighting, really, you pretty much want to be attacking the guy's blind side or back. That it's way easier to fight somebody from behind than it is in the front, right? So your first game plan, I mean, you might do some strikes in the front at first, but your real game plan is to get to their what I call back quarter or full back. Yeah, huge. And yeah, like you're saying in wrestling, I wonder if you saw the same one that I saw, because every time I see a video, I want to send it to you. I'm like, oh man, I gotta stop sending Sifu Chat all these videos, man. He's got other things to do. And
no, send them to me, man. I'll take it.
Well, you get it too, I mean, you get. I don't need to prove to you at this point
Right.
how Wing Chun is all over the place. You see it, I see it. Hell,
Yeah.
when we're hiking in the woods and we see a tree with broken limbs, we probably both see a Mook Chun, right?
Right.
So, um, all right. So let's get back to this Kimim Ma. We start
Right.
no space. We take 3 breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. On the 3rd breath, all breathing is done through the nose. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. 1 breath, 2 breaths, and 3 breaths, all through the nose. Now we turn our hands around, and as if we're picking up dumbbells, we get down like this. There we go.
No, yeah, I'll be side view. I'll be side view.
Okay, thank you,
You're
thank you.
stretching. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And all right, so let's do that again. Let's do that again. When I do things slow, I get lost. I even get lost. Very good. 3 breaths. And 3rd breath, we pick it up and you'll notice we're shooting down and opening to this stance. Now, this stance is we're here, and as we shoot down with the left over the right side, we're going heel, toe, heel. We come up to a collar choke and bring it in. And then, of course, we want to do the other side as well. So now right over left and bring it in. Now, as you see with Sifu Chad, he's bringing the fist all the way back. So it's not like here all lazy. I see guys with big bellies, they even rest their fist on their bellies. I'm like, really?
I've seen it.
Yeah. So pull it back. You want to kind of get that tension. We're really working with what's called dynamic tension and compression. Okay, I was trying to think of some more fancy words, but that's all we're doing.
Isometric dynamic tension. Was that it?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm noticing. I've been sick for almost a month, and man, it's going. All the stuff is going out of my head. So I decided, okay, I'm going massive healthy mode now.
Yeah.
So I'm quitting all my vices. I'm done. I'm done because I need this. If this
Right.
goes, I'm screwed. So I'm hoping that this sick. It's not a full-time thing. They'll come back. All right. So once again, I'm gonna Chad. You don't have to do this over again, but I'll just start over. So 3 breaths. We pick it up. Some say you throw the weights down. 1, 2, 3. And then he and Sal. I knew I did something wrong. I knew I had to start over for one reason or another. Right? Again, I'll skip out the 3 breaths. That's taking up too much time. We pick it up. We throw the weights down. We get into what's called Kimim Ma, or the goat grasping stance or sheep grasping stance. Then we do Hien Sao. Hien Sao means circling hand. And we Bai Ji and Hien Sao in the other direction. Keep your hands as close together without touching as possible. Now we go into left over right, right over left, and right over left, left over right. Then from here is the famous vertical punch that we really use to a great extent in Wing Chun. 1, 2, 3. And again, we open the hand, Hien Sao, circling hand, keeping everything center. Same thing on the right side. 1, 2, 3, keeping everything center. And Hien Sao. Good. Now let's just that's what I was trying to tell you before. Half of our training session is done here, and it's open to the public. If you'd like to join us for that second half of this, you can join us over at patreon.com/SifuZ. Capital SIFU, capital Z. No, capital S, lowercase IFU, uppercase Z. Sifu I might have to change that to Dirty Dojo. My name, even Sifu Z, is less letters, but it's more complicated to say. I'm realizing that as I'm trying to tell people the websites and stuff, the channels,
Yeah,
I don't even remember. I'm like, if I can't remember, no one else is going to remember. So if you notice my channels, I'm changing all the names and making it easier to find and remember the names.
I did notice the channel. I like the new name on the Zigger channel. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're only doing about a half hour today. Sometimes we'll do longer for the public. We'll do longer sessions, but we're doing at least a half hour. And this whole idea was not only just to introduce you to our style of training, but sort of a nice place for if you're interested or if you do martial arts. Doesn't matter what martial art you do. This would be a nice place to come, hang out, maybe even share some of your martial art understanding or wisdom. So I'm going to now transfer on over to Patreon. Again, patreon.com/Sifuzi. And if you'd like, you could join us over there. If you have any questions, these videos get archived over at the Dirty Dojo channel on YouTube. So they appear the following day. So if you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments down below. This has been brought to you, the Dirty Dojo has been brought to you by SifuZ.com. So go check out the website over there. There's lots of free training available for you. We've been doing this for many years. So yeah, you won't run out of content. I don't believe now I'm saying the word content. Yeah, you won't run out of videos to train with anytime soon over at SifuZ.com. All right, now our salutation in and out, if you're wondering, is Bon Sao, Ton Sao, Pop Sao. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Friday. Even though it's raining cats and dogs, usually when the weather isn't right or something, then we don't do the training. Well, I after 1 or 2 weeks of that, I was like, no. We can't do that anymore. That's just no good. So pretty much, I can't promise because there's also technical issues that happen that just make it impossible for him to stream. But whenever possible, which is almost all the time, usually the technology works. Every Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you over there. And I'll see you over at the Patreon. Again. Boom. Aloha.